All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Dive into Real Estate Investing for Newbies podcast. I have a very special guest, Rob Kessler. He is an inventor of the $1 million collar. Rob will get more into that, but Rob is also, he's been in real estate for quite a while and owns real estate and still do real estate. So, Rob, welcome to the show. I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I love talking about real estate.
Yeah. So Rob, you have a extensive background. Can you kind of tell us like, okay, the $1 million collar is real big. I know with the clothing. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that and tell us what came first? Was it clothing? Was it real estate? Or how did this all start?
So, real estate definitely was a passion of mine from a pretty early age. I remember when I got my driver's license, I'm 15 and a half, 16 years old, whatever it is. And when I would have a rough day, I'd ask my mom for the car. And I grew up on the east side of Milwaukee. So all the houses in the east side of Milwaukee are from like the 1920s and 30s, and they are architectural, amazing buildings. And so I would literally at like 16 years old, just go for a drive and just look at houses. And that's how I could clear my mind. And I just really appreciated the real estate. I really appreciated the architecture of these old 1920s mansions that we certainly didn't live in. I shared a bedroom with my sister until I think I was 17 years old. So, and she was 5 years younger. So that was awkward. So I went into college thinking I wanted to be an architect. I went to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which was the #2 architecture school in the country at the time. #2 means it's highly competitive, and I just was not that great of a student. So I made it about a half of a semester before I realized that architecture was not going to be my final thing. So did college, graduated with a marketing degree, sold houses, cars, and diamonds. Well, I got into real estate a little bit later. So I actually started my real estate, I think when I was 23. I was a real estate salesperson in Wisconsin. Sold one house my first year for like a $1,500 commission. So it was a slow start. I mean, who's trusting a 23, 24-year-old to sell, to buy a house
Right.
with. So did that for several years until 2006. I was on a condo project and I was bored out of my mind sitting in the little sales trailer. And so I started a clothing company while I was doing that. And the clothing led to screen printing led to my invention, which I came up with on my wedding day, $1 million collar. But there was always real estate in there from 23 on. So
Right. So your as far as were your parents in real estate or because I was reading your dad, he was in jewelry or something, right?
Yep. Yeah, my dad's is focused on diamonds. He was one of the largest independent jewelers in the U.S. before he retired. So I helped that business grow and watch that grow, which was really amazing. My mom, actually, after my parents got divorced, she did go to work as the executive assistant to the owner of a real estate company, but that was totally ironic, I guess. I mean, it didn't really factor in my passion, but it was cool that I was kind of hanging around that a little bit. I got to see it. It was a Coldwell Banker in Wisconsin. So she was in it, but she wasn't really in it.
So are you you told me that you've been having your real estate license for what, 15 years now? Are you still actively doing that? I know with the clothing, is that keeping you real busy or
Yeah.
what?
So the closing is definitely the driving force. So I moved from Wisconsin to Los Angeles about a little over 5 years ago, and so I let my real estate license lapse. But actually, recently, I've been getting really excited about real estate again. So I was able to go back and I have less than 1 year to do the continuing ed to keep my license active. Otherwise, I would have had to start all over again. So I actually just renewed my license. I was able to do all the continuing ed in less than a week and get that renewed. So I was so excited actually when I started in real estate that I was one of the fastest people in Wisconsin to ever get their real estate license. I did it in less than 10 days from the first video, the first class to passing my test with less than 10 days. So I got into it and just said, I'm going full bore into this. So I'm definitely working my way back into real estate.
Right. Is there any particular niche you trying to get into, or is it just buy and hold, rental, flip, or
So I actually, my first purchase was a duplex. I always like to find a way to get some revenue out of whatever I own.